Hey guys, welcome to week 6 of online engineering. I hope that you were able to catch up on some of your work last week. If you were not, it's time to log on and get those assignments turned in. This week, we're going to be focusing on desertification. The learning target is I can apply scientific principles to design a method for monitoring and minimizing human impact on the environment. Desertification is basically when the land is overused for a lot of reasons. It becomes deserted, it becomes a desert. And that causes a lot of problems for us humans. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit. So, desertification is caused by several different factors. One of them is overgrazing. So that's when livestock like cows or sheep graze on land and they eat all of the plants. And so what happens when the plants are removed is then the topsoil dries out because plants protect the soil from the sun. So when the plants are removed, the sun heats up the soil and it dries out. And then the wind is able to blow the topsoil away. And when the topsoil is blown away, that's a problem because topsoil is actually what contains a lot of the nutrients that we need to grow plants. And we grow plants so that we have food. Also, if the plants disappear, then there's no food for livestock to graze on. Another one is unsustainable agriculture. So that is when we're growing plants and sometimes the way we water plants isn't sustainable. And when we're constantly clearing out land to prepare for farming, that causes also the soil to dry out and become deserted. Deforestation, when we're cutting down trees, like we said, trees, not only do the plants protect the soil from the sun, but the roots in plants also help keep the soil in place. So when we remove trees or plants, then we're making that soil more likely to dry out and become a desert. Also, overpopulation. So our population on the planet is growing at a really, really fast rate. The more people that are on the planet, the more need we have for livestock, ranching, just providing food. And so that again goes back to our growing plants and removing trees for fuel, all of those things. So the more people on the planet, the more we need resources. Another one is urbanization. And what that means is just, again, overpopulation. The more people, the more places we need to live. And when we make communities, we have to take out the plants and build structures like buildings and things like that. And the more we are building cities and growing cities, the more likely the land can become deserted as well. Or turn into a desert. And then back to last week, we talked about how climate change is causing the sea levels to rise. Well, climate change also causes the atmosphere temperature to rise. And as the atmosphere temperature rises, it's going to increase the heat, which is going to also dry out the land quicker. Well, why should we care about desertification? There's a lot of reasons why. It makes it really difficult, if not impossible, to grow crops. And if we can't grow crops, then we don't have food. All of the food we eat comes from some type of natural resource. It also makes water polluted as well. Plants act as a natural filter for our water. And when those plants can't grow, pollutants get into our water and it becomes harder for us to filter out. It also causes people to have to move away to more wet areas. As the land dries out, people can't grow food, people can't raise livestock there, and so they're forced to move to other areas, which then causes overpopulation in certain areas. In the past, desertification has caused mass migrations and caused the downfall of some civilizations. It can also cause animals to go extinct because it removes their food source as well. So, with that being said, I just gave you a brief overview of desertification, but you're going to be doing a lot of other research this week. I moved week 6 to the top of your course, so you'll see it right here. You have 2 assignments due this week. One is the desertification lesson, and the other is the problem and solutions discussion. The reason why we're learning about desertification this week is because next week you're going to be working on a design challenge in which you have to figure out how to re-green the desert. So actually a third of our planet is in danger of desertification. And unfortunately, Colorado is one of them. Colorado is a really dry state, as well as our surrounding states like Utah, Arizona, New Mexico. And even now, we are having issues with determining where our fresh water is going to go and who's going to get it. So your engineers are working hard to figure out ways to re-green the desert. So that's what you're going to be working on next week. So let's go into the desertification lesson. It says, desertification is a worldwide problem that affects us in many ways. It's caused by a combination of natural and human impacts. If desertification continues to spread, our food and water supplies could be in danger. Engineers work together to come up with solutions to stop the spread of soil drying out and being infertile, so not being able to grow crops or feed livestock. Next week, you'll be working on that challenge I talked about. So you're going to click on this link, which is going to take you here. And I have some links here. You're going to use this infographic, which is linked right here. The infographics right here. And what it does is it shows you by continent how desertification, what is causing that. So also based on population. So as you can see, Asia and Africa have bigger circles because more people live there. And if I look at the colors, it's telling me that blue, 32% of Asia is vulnerable to desertification because of overgrazing. Remember, overgrazing is when cows or sheep or other types of livestock are eating too much of the grass or too much of the plant vegetation that covers the soil. Green is deforestation, and so on. So you can look at this infographic to get some information. Also, I have linked some articles here. I actually highlighted the Green Tumble article because it is really great. It lists causes and effects, and if you click on one of the causes, it'll bring you down to where in that article it talks about it. So in this assignment, you have to explain what is desertification as well as what causes it. Now pay attention to the length requirement here because your response to what is desertification needs to be 2 sentences long, and your response to what causes it needs to be 6 sentences long, and you have to give at least 3 reasons. So when you are working on this, you want to make sure to use these articles as well as the infographic to come up with at least 3 causes for desertification. You're going to turn that in. The other assignment that you're going to work on is the discussion. It's very similar to the discussion that you did for sea level rise. Now, you're going to look for an article or video that discusses it. You're going to post the link to that and explain in 5 to 7 sentences what you learned about desertification. And then you need to comment on 2 others. Now, one thing I noticed in the discussion is that a lot of you are commenting very, very vague comments on other people's discussion. You need to actually read the article or watch the video to the link that they're posting, and you need to contribute. So don't just say, oh, that was a great article, or I learned a lot. I want you to say exactly what specifically you were thinking when you were looking at that article or what they said. So an example could be, wow, I didn't realize that raising cattle had such an impact on the soil. That's a specific comment. So make sure that your comments are detailed and not just saying good job or hi or something like that. I do have an example post here This is the same one from Sea Level Rise, but it's just an example to show you this is what your initial post should look like. It's at least 5 to 7 sentences, and I have the link. So you're going to post your initial and then respond to 2 other people. All right, and once you do that, you should have a good idea of what desertification is. So that way next week you can put your engineer hat on and come up with some ways to re-green the desert. All right, good luck. Email me or come see me in class if you have any questions. All right, good luck.